All right, now we're on to the law of cosines. Here's the law of cosines. A side C. If you're looking for side measure, here's what you do. You take the other two side measures, you square them, add them together. You subtract from that 2 times one of the sides that you know, times the other side that you know, times the cosine of the angle that corresponds to the side that you're looking for. Then you take the square root of all that. This looks very intimidating, but it's not. If you get two side measures, you plug them in here, here, and then the same numbers here and here. And then one angle measure, you plug it in here, and the calculator does the rest. Okay, this is what the formula says. Here where the C goes, that's just the side that we're looking for. And A and B are the other two sides. Capital C is the angle that goes with the side that you're looking for. On your worksheet, it says find AB, the distance from A to B. We're going to call this side C. It's just the side that we're looking for. It's also across from the letter C for angle C. That's probably more than just a coincidence. So here's little c. All right, so C equals, just like the formula. Now A and B. Here's the two side measures that I do know. It's always good practice to write the biggest one down first. So 29 squared plus 13 squared minus. All right, so far, nothing that you can't do. You just look, you get the two side measures that you know, you write them down here and put a square with them. Minus 2 will be in every one of these. It's a part of the formula. Now you see these two numbers that you wrote down here? You're going to copy them over again. This time they're being multiplied, so times 29 times 13. And then cosine, parenthesis. So it's the cosine of the angle that's across from this side. Here's the side, there's the angle across from it, so 41. So little c equals, now you just type all this in the calculator. So square root, so second x squared gives you square root symbol. 29 squared plus 13 squared minus 2 times 29 times 13 cosine 41. Close parenthesis, push enter, round to the nearest tenth. This 9 rounds that up to a 10, which makes that a 1. 21. And it's done. All right, let's wrap our heads around this again. It doesn't matter what letter belongs to what side. Right here, you're solving for the side that you don't know. These two are going to be the other two sides that you do know. And these will be those same two numbers. This will be the angle across from the side that you need to find. Sometimes they're not going to be called A, B, and C, or sometimes it's not side C that you're looking for. It changes nothing about how you set the formula up. All right, but what if we need to solve for an angle? Can we use the law of cosines? And the answer is yes, we can. We start out the same way. Find the measure of angle A. Well, here's angle A. Okay. Angle A corresponds to this side over here, so I'm going to mark that out. Actually, we're not going to mark it out. That's what we're going to start our equation with. 14. and it's going to equal the square root. Now let's pick the two sides that have nothing to do with angle A. So 9 and 6. 9 squared plus 6 squared minus 2. See, it's going to be in every one of these, minus 2. Repeat these two numbers without the squares. Times 9 times 6 cosine. Now I don't have a number to put in here for cosine, it's just capital A. Right, this is basic algebra here. All right, we're going to solve this for A, the angle measure. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to move everything away from the A. We're going to start with the square root symbol. It's got to go. And how do you get rid of a square root? You get rid of a square root by squaring. So we're going to square both sides. 14 squared equals. So if I square this side, I get 14 squared. If I square this side, it just gets rid of the square root symbol. So 9 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 9 times 6 cosine of A. All right. Now I need to start moving things from left to right. I look for the things that are being added or subtracted. Here's a minus sign right here. So I can either add this side to move it to the other, this part to move it to the other side, or I can subtract the 9 squared and the 6 squared and it moves it to the other side. And that's what I'm going to do. So minus 9 squared plus 6 squared minus 9 squared plus 6 squared. That cancels it out there. And now I have 14 squared minus 9 squared minus 6 squared equals negative 2 times 9 times 6 cosine of A. All of this is being multiplied. You can go ahead and multiply these numbers together to make it easier. Negative 2 times 9 times 6. So that it's just one number that you're going to divide by. Or you can divide by those numbers being multiplied together just like this. Yep, and that cancels this part out, and we're left with cosine of A equals 14 squared minus 9 squared minus 6 squared being divided by negative 2 times 9 times 6. Now there's one last thing to do. Inverse trig ratio. It's the inverse of cosine that will equal A. So A equals inverse cosine. And here's how you will type this in your calculator. 2 parentheses. 14 squared minus 9 squared minus 6 squared being divided by negative 2 times 9 times 6. Close parenthesis. All right. Go to your calculator. Type that in. Inverse sine, cosine. Another open parenthesis. 14 squared minus 9 squared minus 6 squared. Close parenthesis. Divide. Open parenthesis. Negative 2 times 9 times 6. final closing parenthesis, enter. Oh, I made an error. Let's see here. Oh, that should be negative. Enter. And there we go. Round to the nearest tenth is 137.0 degrees. 137.0 degrees. Okay. Yes, a lot of steps. Yes, you can go ahead and simplify this part. You can simplify this part. 9 squared is 81. 6 squared is 36. 81 plus 36, add them together, and you're not having to do all of this right here. Same thing right here, 2 times 9 times 6. Or you can just leave them alone. Calculator can handle it if you type them in the correct way. Right. Now, there are some problems or exercises where they give you all 3 side measures and no angle measures, and that's okay. You can do that. You can use this to solve each triangle, just like we did. Let's see, number 11. Find the measure of angle A. So here's the triangle. I give you all 3 side measures, 10, 17, 11. Find measure angle A. All right, here's A. I really don't care what the others are called. All right, A makes this side right here. So 10 equals. Now use the other 2 sides. I'm going to mark that one out. Here's the 2 sides that have nothing to do with angle A. 17 and 11. 17 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 17 times 11 cosine A. Then you solve this for A, and you get inverse cosine of 10 squared minus 17 squared minus 11 squared being divided by negative 2 times 17 times 11. You type it in your calculator. Make sure I hit negative 2 this time instead of 0.2. 34 degrees equals 34 degrees. Now I'm going to finish this one because you have some that say solve each triangle. Now I know that this is 34 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to make myself a little table here. Sides, angles. This is just so I don't miss anything. Little a, little b, little c. Capital A, capital B, capital C. All right, sides and angles. Well, they did tell me all 3 sides. A was 10, and now I know that angle A is 34 degrees. All right, let's see here. This was B, this was C. So side B is 17, side C is 11. And I note all I have to find now is 2 more angles. I'm going to repeat the process that I did right here. The only difference is instead of using 10, I'm going to pick 17. So it'll be 17 equals 11 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 11 times 10 cosine b. So let's see here. Second, cosine. Start with parenthesis. Okay. So 17 squared minus 11 squared minus 10 squared being divided by negative 2 times 11 times 10, 108 degrees. Now I'm down to the last angle measure. I could do the law of cosines again, or I could just start with 180 and subtract these two. And that's what I'm going to do. 180 minus 34 minus 108 equals 38 degrees. That triangle is solved. I have all three side measures, all three angle measures. You can do this. Send me a message if you have questions or you get stuck. Thanks, bye.